Merida, the city we almost moved to. When Jesse and I were researching places to live, Merida came up over and over and over again. As I understand it, there is a pretty sizable expat population here, and the area's got a lot of cool stuff. Eventually, it was the weather that made us choose central Mexico over the Yucatan peninsula. But now that it's winter, I thought it is time for us to finally visit Merida. Jesse had work, so Harper and I took a girls' trip. We flew from Guanajuato to Merida to visit our friend Greg, and the first order of business, of course, was to eat. While Greg finished up work, Harper and I went out to La Chaya Maya, a Yucatan restaurant. And this restaurant was beautiful with this big veranda. I had a limonada con chaya, which is a Mayan plant, which is kind of herby, a little bit like basil, and just refreshing and delicious. Harper, of course, had, what else? Quesadillas. She was glad to have the crema, but was very suspicious of the red sauce that accompanied her quesadillas. I had mukbir chicken. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. There's a corn dough that surrounds chicken and a bunch of other stuff. It's wrapped up in banana leaves. And it came with this tomatoey sauce. Oh, it was just delicious. And for dessert, there was flan. You guys, this was the best flan I have ever had in my entire life. And I've had a lot of flan. This flan was so perfectly creamy and rich, and it just melted in your mouth. Just exactly the right amount of caramel. It was so good. After our lunch, Harper and I walked across the street to this beautiful little square that was surrounded by shops and restaurants, and we stopped into this chocolate shop. If I try to pronounce it, I'm gonna butcher it, so I'll just let you read it on the screen. Harper wanted to sit outside, so we did, and she promptly found a placemat to put over her head so that she could pretend to be a ghost. It was very scary. I started off with an espresso with cream to give me a little bit of a boost since we had gotten up very, very early that morning to get to the plane. Harper had a delicious traditional Mexican hot chocolate, which she loved, and I may have tried some of as well. It was really quite amazing. And we just sat there and played Paw Patrol and just listened to the sounds of people in the square. It was really lovely. After I finished my espresso, I got a traditional Mayan hot chocolate. I believe it was Mayan, which came with some ground spices to mix into the chocolate. It was dark and spicy and really unlike anything else I'd ever had. After we had our chocolate break, Harper and I just wandered through the historic center and marveled at the beautiful buildings and all the pretty colors. We made our way over to this square with the beautiful Merida sign, and there were approximately 9 million pigeons, which Harper was thrilled about.
I'll go chasing rainbows, near or far. I'll color your world. Ooh. Someday I will find you, shooting star. You belong in my hand, in my hand. Would I be the same without you, without you? The sky won't ever change without you, without you. My head, there are mountains, endless sunsets, rivers and streams in my dreams. Blue skies, I see your eyes. Where, oh where, wherever you are, you're with me.
I started to understand why this town has attracted so many people. Especially as the sun was beginning to set, there was just this beautiful warm light on everything. And the pastel buildings and the ornate trim work. It was just really pretty.
I'll go chasing.
After doing a bit more wandering, we met up with Greg for dinner at Hermana República, this beautiful little restaurant that had a little outdoor seating area. And as the sun went down, they turned these lovely lights on, and we sat under this tree and just felt like we were in this little secret garden. I had some amazing octopus tacos with a spicy sausage, and Harper had some quesadillas, which I believe she looked at least twice. The next day we set off to explore more of this lovely city. We started the day at Chilaquilers, which is a restaurant that only serves chilaquiles. And this was possibly the very best chilaquiles I've ever had. It was amazing. I went with the blue corn tortilla chips, the house-made verde salsa, and the pork choke, which is a delicious pork. So good. After breakfast, we wandered and meandered and strolled, and it was really hot. It was so hot. I was so sweaty. But the city is beautiful. There are these grand old buildings and just a lot of posh things to see. Afternoon, we stopped in at a coffee shop to cool down and recaffeinate before heading back out. We had dinner at Pancho's Restaurante, and the place was really cool. It just had a really nice vibe. I had the Mayan grilled octopus, which was the best octopus I have ever had. It was so tender. It was so fresh. It was not chewy at all. Ugh, I want another one of those right now. And the next morning, it was time for us to say goodbye. Harper and I stopped in at a little cafe for some breakfast before catching the bus to Cancun. And I already want to go back. Merida was just such a sweet, pretty place with truly the most amazing food. And Jesse was very sad he missed it. There's something odd about the place that I didn't notice until we left, which is that after you leave, you start wanting to go back. There's just something about the colors or the flavors or the light that kind of gets under your skin. So I think I get it. I still don't think I'd survive a summer there, but I will definitely be back.